Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here from sweetstamper.com, and I am so happy that you are going to join me today. I am speaking that by faith because there's nobody here at the moment, but I am going to just silence my notifications so nobody tries to call me in the middle of Facebook Live. Ask me how I know to do that. It's because it's happened before. Actually, on more than one occasion, so there's all kinds of little bits and pieces. You know what I forgot to do is I need to switch so that when I go, there we go. I need to go, now I've got hair sticking up. I need to go opposite because then when I bring the camera down, everything isn't backwards for you. So I actually put it on, I guess it's like mirror image. It's the backwards image so that when I start stamping, what you're going to see is all the words in the right direction. Hey there, Jackie and Darlene and Susan. Welcome, welcome. It is a rainy day here in San Antonio, which is always good. We always need rain in Texas. It tends to be feast or famine, so we either get tons or we get none, but you know, we take what we can. It's gonna bug me. You know, the one thing that's really bad about this part when you do Facebook Live and you're facing people is it's like this big gigantic mirror. Yikes. You see all the imperfections like screaming at you. But I do like to welcome you, so, you know, imperfections and all, hair wonky and all, welcome, welcome to my Facebook Live. It is Teach Me Tuesday, which is what I do each Tuesday here. And we've got Kathy and Sue and Laura and Marlene and Mary. Oh, now, Mary, you're going to try to get me on the TV. That's a little scary. My sparkling water, my favorite drink. H-E-B has these, and they used to have just a few flavors, and now they have a whole ton. But this was my original favorite, the grapefruit, and I think it's probably still top 2 at least. But they also have some amazing, they have like, I think they have like black raspberry, they have passion fruit, some like orange, maybe cranberry orange or something. Hey, Yolanda, I'm glad you're here. So we are going to do some Sale-a-Bration stamping today. We are still in our Sale-a-Bration period through the end of February, which means that when you make a purchase of every $50, you get something from this book for free. And I'm going to actually be featuring a stamp set, a couple of stamp sets from here that you can get for free, as well as some paper you can get for free. You know, it seems like this year with Sale-a-Bration, it's all about the paper. I don't remember there ever being so many packs of free paper that you can get. And in addition to that, the joining special, which we always have a joining special during Sale-a-Bration, and you know, the starter kit's always an amazing deal at $125 of whatever you want for $99 and free shipping. But during Sale-a-Bration, they always throw in an extra gift. Hey, Gail, I'm glad you're here. And this year, it's paper. So this is why I'm saying it's kind of all about the paper. And so in this one, for this year, you get 5 packs of the Color Collection Designer Series paper. And these papers are actually not available for sale, even to demonstrators right now. We could get them on the pre-order, but these will not be available until our new annual catalog, which releases in May this year. So Sale-a-Bration is all about the paper this year. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and bring you down to my workspace, and we're going to get to working with some of this Sale-a-Bration paper. Here we go. Okay, so hopefully I haven't got you too wonky. Let's see, I'll wait till it comes up on my computer before I proceed too far along. I do like to do a little bit of a review with you. So this is where we were last week on Teach Me Tuesday. Okay, yeah, I think I'm okay. Yeah, you guys can see pretty well. So this is where we went last week, and I started with this card here. This is Touched by Ink, and this stamp set is free with a $100 order. So, hey Kay, I'm glad you've joined us. There are mostly $50 choices, but in the Sale-a-Bration book, there are, over the last number of years, there's some choices you can get when you make a $100 purchase. So this stamp set is one of the free choices you can get there. And these are the kind of peekaboo window cards that I did last week on Teach Me Tuesday. Thank you for sharing, Kay. I really appreciate that. It helps me so much. Even if nobody ever clicks on it, which I hope they do, it helps with the Facebook, helps with their algorithms. So these were fun to do, and we had this kind of fancy fold with the window, and we did some fun coloring with the butterfly and piecing it here so that when you open, you get the butterfly still on the inside. So that was last week's Teach Me Tuesday. This week, I'm going to key in on this same paper, and this is Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. This is free with a $50 order. Really love the colors, but I will say I'm going to do a major shift from the main colors because I'm going to key in on one of these solid, more solid patterns and start with the greens and then go in a different direction. So that's what we're going to do as far as project goes. This is the stamp set that I'm featuring. It is Corner Bouquet, and you have a large corner and a small corner bouquet that you could use, and then a couple of little extra bits that you can add to your project. Before we start, and I am going to start right away, I did want to give you just a little sneak peek for a class. This is an add-on class for something I'm doing next Saturday. Next Saturday, I teamed up with Jen Pitta, who is, I call her my East Coast bestie. She is a demonstrator on Cape Cod. And then Karina Chen, who's a demonstrator in Canada. And the three of us are hosting a Saturday Facebook event. So we're in a private Facebook group. But within that, there's all kinds of fun projects, and we're kicking off the Sale-a-Bration catalog, and each one of us has designed some projects, and we also designed an add-on class. This is my add-on class. I wanted to just give you a little peek at it. I am loving this new Treasures of Life stamp set. So I created a card and a box using the new Love You Always Specialty Designer Series paper. And then I did another card and treat. So this is congratulations on your newest treasure. That could be a child, it could be a grandchild. This is called Treasures of Life. And it really does key in on the whole aspect of grandchildren. The joy of grandchildren is measured by the heart, and the love only grows. Love the sentiments here. And the artwork is really gorgeous as well. So this one uses just the sentiment, and then this one uses my favorite of the stamps in the Treasures of Life stamp set, and this is the grandpa reaching down and helping with the scarf for a grandchild. So I've got grandchildren are the treasures of a long life. So that is a little sneak peek for my add-on class, and that is all happening a week from Saturday. Not this Saturday, thank God. I'm still working on getting ready. So that is next Saturday, and that registration I did extend by 1 day, so it closes tonight. But for $39, you can do the actual event, the main event, and it's 10 to 4 Central Time on a private Facebook group. And Karina and Jen and I are doing something every hour on the hour. So Facebook Live all day on Saturday. You can pop in and out. That's the nice thing about these online events. You can pop in or out as you need. So what I'm going to do today is I'm kind of doing my own version of a scrap challenge. And a scrap challenge is where you just take your scraps and use them. And so I wanted to, I found this piece in that's already been cut, and this piece as well. And I am going to go ahead and cut them down really quick. Yep, I do have, yay, my paper trimmer right here. So I'm going to cut this down. This is already, it looks like it's at 4 inches wide. Yes, it is. So I'm going to cut this one. Actually, I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 5 1/4 so that I have basically 2 layers to put on a card front. 5 1/4 right there. And if you do not have this paper trimmer, you want to get it. It's an amazing paper trimmer. I absolutely love it. Use the heck out of it. And I love the fact that you can not only cut, but you have this scoring blade right here, ready to go. And I have been just keeping this tucked into my desk here so that I know where it is. Yay me for keeping something in the same place. Okay. Now, this is the paper that I wanted to key in on. I'm actually going to make 3 cards with you today. I know that's not my usual, but it's because I wanted to show you how our greens work so pretty together. So here I have Old Olive, and you can see how this picks up the darker tone in this background pattern. Then we have Pear Pizzazz. Let me go in this direction. This is Pear Pizzazz, and maybe we'll go here. Pear Pizzazz is actually the lighter counterpart to Old Olive. So can you see that? It's just the lighter shade of Old Olive. They're both warm greens. So this kind of blends in to the background here. This blends in to the darker piece of this pattern. And then I'm going to also use soft seafoam. Now I only have a piece here, but that's okay. I'm going to do some little different things with them. But I wanted you to see how our greens mix and match and blend so beautifully. So each of these cards will have a slightly different look based on the color of their background. Now, although this is absolutely beautiful, I'm going with a purple color scheme. And there's no purple in here, so I'm just going to use the green as my nice background. Let's get you going, sweetheart. Let's see. There we go. Now we're going. Now we're cooking with gas. Ange McKay always says that, and it is a fun saying. And I do have a gas cooker, so we are cooking with gas, quite literally. So there is my Pear Pizzazz, and this is my Old Olive piece. And this is just a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of Designer Series paper. Really nice background, effortless, absolutely effortless. I could spend a lot of time getting all of that on the background, but here now I'm going to get these all going in the same direction so that I don't mess them up. Now this is actually a top fold card. Doesn't really make any difference. These were all just in my little folder where I keep my my card bases. Now Mary is asking if anybody else is blurred. I can tell you, Mary, that I have you guys up on my computer and everybody's looking good. Well, I can see your comments. I can see my work surface and it's not blurry to me. So let me know if other people are having problems. You might try to refresh your screen. Sometimes that helps. Now, the one thing that I did cut is the white panels because I'm going to use some of this for my greetings, but I needed 3 even pieces to go across the card fronts. So I think this is 3.5 by 4.5. And this is my main gig here. And I've already mounted these stamps. And these are, you will notice, these are red rubber cling stamps. So what that means is I don't need anything underneath me. I can just stamp directly on my paper here. Now let me move my little laminated piece out. Don't need that. Nothing watery underneath me. but I may need to stamp on my little piece of paper here. So, okay, Jackie and Kay are saying that the picture is coming through well for them. Okay, now, did I forget my stamp set? Yes, I put the wrong one in here. I put one, not stamp set, ink pad. Okay, I forgot my green ink pad, so let me go fetch that real quick. Okie dokie. Now, this is, I'm going to show you the cheater way to do multicolored ink on a single stamp set. So I'm going to use, this is my color scheme here, Old Olive, Blackberry Bliss. I am going to pull out my blender pen. So this is one of the items I keep in my essential toolkit, basic toolkit. And that actually can remove ink as well as add ink. And I will show you what I mean on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by moving these guys out of the way so they don't get all inky. Let's get our surface ready here. You can see that this is a this has mostly greenery, grass and stuff, and then it has some flower heads and some flowers. So what I'm going to do, my cheater quickie way, is I'm actually going to cover the entire surface of my stamp with Old Olive ink. And then I'm actually going to lay down Blackberry Bliss ink right on top. Because you know what, folks? Blackberry Bliss is so dark that it is going to obliterate the Old Olive underneath. And I am removing a little bit of excess ink along the way because what's happening is that as I add my Blackberry Bliss ink, I'm also picking up a little bit of Old Olive ink, and I don't want to get too much ink on my marker. So I am just getting rid of it over there. You will notice, or I should say, I'm going to ask you to notice, that I am using only the side of my Stampin' Write marker. This is an ordinary Stampin' Write marker. And what I mean by that is it's not a Stampin' Blend. This is not an alcohol-based marker. This is our regular ink, our classic ink. And it is all-purpose, works for so many things, and you can actually put it directly on your stamp. Now, you can't do that with blends. First of all, they would dry immediately because they're alcohol-based, and they also, you don't want that kind of ink on your stamp. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it a little bit off camera, is I'm going to huff or basically breathe through my mouth over this stamped image because as I've been working, some of this ink begins to dry a little bit, and I need it to be nice and moist for when I put this on my paper. So that is going to give me a nice little bit of ink coming through on my voila. Now, you see how I now have purple flowers and I have green grass and greenery and foliage, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, what's nice about this stamp set, hey Crystal, I'm glad you joined us. We're doing multicolored stamping the quick and easy way. So that's my Teach Me part of Teach Me Tuesday. Now I am going to close up my Old Olive ink pad just because I don't want to stick my fingers in it inadvertently, which I sometimes do. Here is my Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm going to take this little flower here, and I'm just going to add. I can actually add it on top of some that I've already stamped to just give them a little bit more ink if I want to. I can also add it in where there isn't any flower as yet. So you see how that just gives me a lot more option. And because this is Blackberry Bliss ink, I can stamp and then I can stamp again and I just get a lighter version of the same color. So this is, I'm always looking for shortcuts. That's just me. It's the way I think. Part of it's because I don't have a lot of patience. So that is looking pretty good to me. I'm liking it. I'm thinking this is good. And I am going to be placing this. I'll grab this is the soft sea foam. I'm going to start with this one so you can kind of see where I'm going. And I'm going to put my greeting right up here. And I actually have a couple of choices. And these are both also Sale-a-Bration free stamp set choices. And I could make this into, I thought this was a really pretty birthday greeting. If things really do get better with age, then you're approaching perfection. I think it would be a really nice greeting with this particular stamp set. I could do just a straight on simple happy birthday. I could do any of these really would work. Probably not the birthday candles or the balloon because I've already got a lot of imagery here. So the other option is I can do any of these greetings. And I think that what I will start with is I'm just going to grab this thank you. Thank you cards seem to absolutely get wings in my house. As soon as I get a bunch of thank you cards ready, they're all gone. And then I'm scrambling looking for another one. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to make sure that I've mounted it pretty straight. Yeah, not bad at all. So now I'm just going to come in here and do my thank you. I'm stamping upside down for the benefit of the camera. Hopefully I'm not too crooked. And I'm thinking that's pretty nice, just the way it is. Very, very simple, but it keys in on, I have just the two colors for some multi-ink, multicolored stamped image using just one stamp. Now I'm going to, I think, add just a little bit of linen thread. And I'm also going to add a few of these little guys. These are the new Opal Rounds, and I don't know if you have tried these yet, but they're really, really lovely. And I'll tell you what I like about them. Actually, my birthstone is the opal. I have some opals that my daddy got for me when he was stationed in Vietnam when I was very young. And they're one of those kind of sentimental treasures that I have in my jewelry box. But this, I'm actually not even going to pop this up on dimensionals. I think, quite honestly, it's going to look best if I just put it on there flat. Very, very easy to mail. So this is going to go like so, and I'm really just going to center it. I'm not trying to do anything, overly dramatic with that. Yeah, Susan, you're right. It is very simple. It's very simple. Now let's add a few of these opal. You know what's pretty about these is they just have this lovely iridescent quality to them. That's one of the things about opals is they're a little bit iridescent. And they just pick up the light so nicely. So that is going to add just that little bit of color. And because they're iridescent, they kind of pick up some pinks and blues and purples, just different things. Now, let's see. In keeping with my scraps, this was literally just in my little linen thread container as is. So let's just kind of throw this in and see whether we want to keep this or not. I think I mucked that up royally. I think I had no tails to speak of. Somehow I got my tails right into the center. Yikes. Of course, this never happens, but it will, of course, happen while I'm on camera. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. I don't have time to sort out a knot on camera. Oh, Darlene, you like my card. That is high praise. Darlene is a fabulous designer herself. She's part of my team, and actually my assistant. Couldn't do what I do without her. She comes and works in my studio every week. And so high praise. Thank you, Darlene. I'm glad you like my card. Now let's see whether we're going to add some linen thread, or maybe we're just going to leave it as is. What do we think? Do we want the linen thread, or is it really just unnecessary? You know, sometimes you just got to leave it. But I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm gonna let you think about that while I get ready to do this again. So I wanted to show you kind of what this card would look like with 3 different backgrounds. What I'm going to do is, even though I'm going to use the same colors, it's actually a good idea to clean your stamp in between. So now if I wanted to, I could, you know, use this same technique here with the leaves and then come back in and do the flowers. Yeah, I don't have the patience for that. So, okay, so Kay, you're thinking I should add the little bit of trim, a little bit of linen thread. I think you're right. You know, it's just that little something. I had thought about adding the new white twine, and as much as I love white twine, there is, because I've already got a lot of white here, I thought that maybe just the neutrality of classic linen might be just the ticket if I were going to add a little bit of something here. My tails, there we go. Okay, so a couple of votes for the extra, so we're going to add linen thread. You know, linen thread, I think it's like $5, and I think you get about 20 yards. I mean, it's an incredible buy. It's one of those things you just need to have in your little crafting supplies. So there is card number 1. Let's work on card number 2 and see how we can do it and how it's going to look with a full-on background, because my first card had just a slice of the designer paper. This one is pretty much covering the background. So let's once again add, and I could kind of focus on just the leaves down here, but you know, if I did, I'd probably forget I probably wouldn't get enough green in there to cover the stems and whatnot. So that is actually a necessary part of this. So let me show you real quick that one of the things you can do with your blender pen is you can remove ink. So one thing I could do is actually come in here and remove the ink before adding a color. For this, it's not necessary because the color I'm adding is Blackberry Bliss, which already has so much color. It's so dark that it's going to cover up my my old olive on here. But if I wanted to, especially if I were going to be using lighter color, like if I was adding yellow or pink or something, I would want to remove the color first with my blender pen. Now with your blender pen, you see how it's really dark now? That's okay, because your blender pen will stain, but you just kind of keep clearing it on your grid paper, and then it's then you're good because there's no more ink on it. It's just stained because it's white, and white stains. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to add. Now you'll probably notice, because I removed the ink on this before I added the Blackberry Bliss, you'll probably notice that the Blackberry Bliss will be a little bit more true on this color, on this card. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison to see how they look. And I've not been removing ink because I don't have as much of it when I'm doing this after I've removed the ink with the blender pen. I think that's a little flower right in there. And I think there's a couple more in here. I wanted to make sure we had enough purple coming through here. I guess, did I already do these? I don't think so. I don't see any purple on them. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm going to huff. When I get ready to do that, I always think about I'm going to huff and puff and blow your house down, because I used to not read, but tell my children that story of the 3 little pigs quite a lot when they were growing up. So just for kicks, let's do a little side-by-side comparison. Here I removed the ink before I added it, and here I did not. So I will, now I did add some afterwards. I will say I think you get a clearer version of the Blackberry Bliss, but other than that, you really, it's pretty much unnoticeable. So while the first one, whoopsie, I did add some of these, I really don't feel the need to now, because the purple has come through very, very strong. What I am going to do is pull in a different greeting, and I think I'm going to do this one about perfection. I really like that. And I will say, one of the things I like with this stamp set is, you see how delicate the font is on that greeting, and it kind of adds to, this is kind of a delicate grouping of flowers. And so I think that this is going to be a really nice addition there. So let's pull this one off, and let's see how this is going to look. Now, I originally thought that these wouldn't fit and I would need to put a piece of cardstock here, but they're actually fitting just fine. And my purple ink pad, here we go, Blackberry Bliss, here you are. So, hey Diane, I'm glad you joined us today. Great to see you. Hope things are well in your corner of Texas. So let's see how this is going to come out. I'm crooked. See, I should have tried it out first. Yeah, I mean, like, that's seriously crooked. So let's get some cardstock here to the rescue. So I will tell you, you should do what I say and not what I do. So let's see, I need this to be about, this is how big. I need this to be about 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is, let's bring this guy out, and let's bring this piece of Blushing Bride down to 1.5 inches, and let's try putting it at about 3 inches. So this is also, this is Teach Me Tuesday. I'm teaching you what you do when you really mess up. So when you stamp and it's all crooked and you've already just gotten everything on here the way you want it, this is what you do. You cover it up. So that's what we're going to do. Hey Dudley, I'm glad you joined us. So this is where we started, and this is version 2 of the same card with a different colored background and a slightly larger piece of the designer paper. So it looks like I'm going to need to definitely shave this down, but that's not going to be a problem. So let's see if I can do it straight this time. Obviously, don't have the stamp. No, the stamp is actually on correct. I mean, the label is on correctly. Sometimes when I'm stamping upside down on camera, I get it really, oh, no, it's kind of going uphill. So let's see if I can correct just a wee bit, and that will hopefully do the trick. Now we're cooking. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to be really brave, and I'm going to pop this on, even though it's got a crooked greeting, and then we're going to do a little bit of addition in order to subtract the mistake. So this is the correct way. Now notice this time I'm using a Pear Pizzazz background. On the first one I used soft seafoam, so you see how it will bring out different shades and different colors. This time we're adding in a little bit of pink cardstock, largely because I had a boo-boo that I needed to fix. Now, this is the old-fashioned way. Hopefully, I am still on. According to my computer, I just exited Facebook Live. Let's see if I'm still on. Am I still on? Yes, voila. Okay, don't know why that happened. So yeah, Terry Lynn, no, you are not the only one who does boo-boos. So if you need to bake a quick flag, this is what I'm going to suggest. Is I just basically cut a little slice down the center, and then I'm going to go from corner to center cut, and from corner to center cut. And that will usually deliver you a pretty nice even flag. Now I haven't gone all the way to the center, and I need to, so I need to go just a wee bit farther. Voila. Voila. So there, ooh, but that's too big. So let's see if we can bring this in a little bit farther. So my flag is too big for my card. So let's just bring that down a bit. See if that is going to do the trick. Let's see. Almost. I need to give it just a little tiny bit more. You know, the other thing you could do is, and I'm actually going to do it right now, I'm going to just do a slice across here. That is actually kind of an alternative to a flag. So if you do struggle with flags, you can just do a slice, and it gives a nice little bit of interest. And because my greeting is a little bit longer here than here, that's actually kind of a nice fit. And I don't want to pop this up on dimensionals because you'll be able to see my boo-boo underneath there. So this is all about hiding the boo-boos. So let's do that. And I'm going to be asking you which of these cards you like the best. And I realize that we're not really comparing apples to apples here because of my mess up. So here I have added a little bit of Blushing Bride cardstock to cover up my mess up. Now, you know, I could have done like a little circle punch or something, but you'd have to get a pretty big circle to get that greeting. I could have used a smaller greeting, but that was the one I decided on. So let's grab another little bit of linen thread. We're just going to do a double bow to put at the bottom of our little corner bouquet. And I love the name for this, corner bouquet, is so fitting because that's exactly what this is. It's a little corner bouquet. So let me grab a glue dot, a mini glue dot right here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to go right down there in the corner. And then the only other thing I need to add is my little Opal Rounds. I'm liking these rather a lot. So let's do one here, and then trying to do better about putting these on in such a way that I don't just randomly go everywhere. Whoopsie, where'd it go? I think it stayed behind. Oh, no, I want a smaller one. I think I'm actually going to do that right there. So there is version number 2 with a Pear Pizzazz base. This is version 1 with a soft seafoam base. And darling, I'm glad you like the slice. You know, sometimes the flag is a little bit fussy. This is nice and clean, but it gives just a little bit of interest. So now, final round, let's go in for the third card. And again, I just grabbed card bases and I grabbed a piece of designer paper that was already cut and wanted to use up some scraps, kind of challenge myself that way. And once again, we're going to do our little cheater version of multicolored stamped image. And we're going to do that by coloring the entire image with our light to medium color. Old Olive is really more of a medium color. And then I'm going to add a dark color on top with my Stampin' Write marker. And you won't even be able to tell that there's another color underneath. So again, this technique works best when you have dark colored flowers. So here I'm putting in my Blackberry Bliss, which is probably the darkest color that we have other than black. I mean, it's really, really inky, inky dark. I love it. One of the great things you can do with Blackberry Bliss is you can do second and third generation stamping. And that is just kind of the stamping term for when you stamp an image and then you stamp again without re-inking the stamp. You just keep going. And so, truth be told, with Blackberry Bliss, you can get like 4th and 5th generation stamping. I mean, it will just keep on going and give you a lot of beauty along the way. So Blackberry Bliss, very, very versatile color. It is extremely dark. Okay, this designer paper, we have, Diane is asking, and it is one of the Sale-a-Bration papers. So this designer paper, voila, I'm liking it, is this one here, Diane. It's the Paper Blooms. So even though these are the colors that they paired it with, I wanted to key in on just the green and go in a purple direction. So that's one of the nice things that you have the option of when you have these kind of almost solid background, monochromatic backgrounds, is that you can kind of go in all different directions with it. So now I am going to go back to my original stamp set, Heal Your Heart. And I started with a thank you, and I think this time I really, really love the font on this stamp set with this particular bouquet, this corner bouquet. So I think I'm going to do the Wishing I Could Heal Your Heart is a lovely one. I think I'm going to do We're in This Together. So again, these are all items you can get with a $50 order. If you wanted all 3 of them, you would need to do a $150 order. So this stamp set is free with a $50 order. The birthday one, this is all kind of heartfelt greetings. The birthday one is all birthday greetings, and this is free with a $50 order. And then the paper is also free with a $50 order. So these are outstanding free options that Sale-a-Bration is giving us this year. Oopsie, that is sticking. Sale-a-Bration, just a reminder, runs only till the end of February this year. In the last few years, it has run all the way through March. So you need to kind of pace yourself and pace your budget so that you get everything that you're wanting before the end of February. And the best option is to purchase the starter kit for $99, get all that free paper. I am not going to do that. I'm going to try this out first. And then everything else you can purchase that you want from Sale-a-Bration, and you can use your 20% discount. You see what I mean? I really do like that font with these flowers. I think it is my favorite of these options. So let's go ahead and put this down and see what we're thinking, whether we like the palest version. That was the one I did with soft seafoam. The medium version is the one I did with, whoopsie, Pear Pizzazz. And then the darkest one is the one I'm doing right now, and this is with Old Olive. And I did just, I laid everything flat on here. Is that crooked? Something looks crooked. You know, the paper isn't, but I think it kind of feels like it is, so I think I'm gonna, technically isn't, but I think maybe I stamped it crooked or something because it's looking crooked when I look at it. So let's just lift that a little bit. Haha. I think I'm going to like that. Well, you know what? I think I stamped it crooked. Let's see. This is what happens when you stamp upside down. Although, haha, that's better. I really should not make excuses. Now I will say, one other little trick I will show you is sometimes when you lift your cardstock to move it around, especially Whisper White, you get a little bit of a buckle in it. So I'm just going to smooth out that buckle with my bone folder. A nice flat. Hey Simone, I'm glad you joined us from Orlando. We are just finalizing the third of, I did the same card in 3 different colors. I did a background of soft seafoam here, Pear Pizzazz here, and then Old Olive here. This one has pink on it because I stamped crooked. So that was my save. And I do like the addition of the pink. I think it's a pretty addition. I could have done it in green, but I think that little pop of color kind of helps it from being too much of the same. Sometimes you can get too much of a good thing and it just kind of all blurs together. And I think that's also why this little bit of linen thread, it's just a really small addition here. But I think that little bit of natural linen color, it's not white, it's not green, it's not purple, which is what we already have in spades here. So by adding a little bit of the neutral linen color, it really kind of brings just a little bit of calm, as it were, and a little nice touch. And then I think that's also why these Opal Rounds work really well here, is because they are, for the most part, neutral. That's actually not a smudge. I'm just spitting while I'm talking, so I ended up getting my card kind of wet there. Definitely not by design. So let's do a 1. You know, it's the rule of 3. What will be most pleasing to your eye is an odd number. So let's just do it like so. And tell me what you like best. And I'm going to even pull this out from underneath just to give a little bit more of a completely neutral background, and tell me whether you like soft seafoam, Pear Pizzazz, or Old Olive. I will say these two have the least variation between them, because I've covered I have a full panel of the designer series paper where I only have a strip of it here. I don't know, I kind of like this. I almost like the strip better and have a little bit of the plain cardstock poking out there. Let's see. You like all 3. Number 1 is your favorite. I think, you know, I'm kind of feeling the same way, Kay. I'm really liking the softness of this soft seafoam. And it's actually not, well, no, I take it back. It is one of the colors here. Soft seafoam and Old Olive are colors that are indicated for our paper blooms. So let's see. I'm going to have a little drink while I'm waiting for you guys to weigh in. I'm going to remind you that you can place orders through my website, and you can use a host code and get some extra goodies for free. So depending on the size of your order, every order gets a free set of tutorials. And then I also have some little paper and embellishment gifts. I do like to kind of keep you guessing, and so I like to kind of reserve the option to do all kinds of things. One of the things I've sometimes been challenged with in the past is if I'll say, you know, well, you're going to get this X, Y, or Z embellishment for free when you place this size order. Wouldn't you know that's the item that goes on back order? And then I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to substitute. So, you know, everybody's liking number 1. I am too. And I have to tell you guys, you know, I don't know why. I guess it's just the way I think with my Facebook Live. I've never made these before I come on camera. So this is my first try with these. Just having an idea in my head, grabbing some stamps and heading over here and just kind of creating live with you in a very impromptu fashion. It just, for me, it works, and it's the way I like to create. I like to hear what you're thinking as I'm creating and what your thoughts, you know, what your ideas are, what your preferences are. They help me a lot. So, Mary, you're liking number 3, so you're liking the deepest shade. I will say this Pear Pizzazz kind of gets lost here. You know, like with this one, the one that Mary likes, it keys in on that darker line that's in the designer paper. This one is kind of in between, so it really just kind of washes into the background. Not a bad thing. It's almost like one of those infinity pools, you know, it just kind of drops off. And then the palest one is here. And that has a little bit of contrast so that you have the dark old olive, you have the medium Pear Pizzazz, and then as a background, we have the light, soft sea foam. So Dudley, you're liking the soft sea foam as well. That seems to be the clear favorite with old olive running second. And in last place, possibly because of the addition of the pink cardstock. Not my intention. That's my mess up. But that is it for Teach Me Tuesday. Terry Lane, kind of like buying your wedding dress. It's usually the first one you try on. You know, I think that that is true. Many times it's the first one that you go with that you like the best. So I will share it with you again here, but on the very top of my Sweet Stamper Facebook page here, you'll see my host code for this month. And many of you here have already placed orders, and I thank you so much for those. Thank you gifts went in the mail yesterday. So I have tracking information for some of you because I tucked your thank you gifts in with other things that you've purchased. So that was kind of fun to be able to box things up yesterday. I've got more that needs to be boxed up here today. I've actually got helpers coming tomorrow. Wednesday is typically the day that I have my my helpers coming on Wednesday afternoon. I actually have some more helpers coming in tomorrow morning, and that is much needed. So I'm grateful for that. Having said that, that means I got to get all my ducks in a row so that they have stuff to work on when they get here. Truth of the matter is, we're actually going to be doing FaceTime with our England kids right about the time they're getting here. So I'm going to have to just turn them loose in my studio and say, this is what I need to get done. And let me step away and talk to my kiddos. With there being a 6-hour time difference, we do have to schedule things when it's convenient for them. And so we're having to work with their work schedule and baby's sleep schedules. They have 2 children, 2 and under, and so Griff just turned 2 and baby Felicity is 3 months now, I think. So they got their hands full, and scheduling time to be able to properly visit with them is increasingly difficult. It used to be a lot easier. Now with baby number 2 in the mix, it's a little bit harder. And with the lockdown, England is really, really locked down. Thankfully, my son's job, he's still able to go to work, but a slightly modified work schedule. So thank you so much for coming to Teach Me Tuesday. I will be back here on Thursday at 2 o'clock Central Time once again for simple and stepped up stamping. I'm still going to be keying in on our Sale-a-Bration free products because we get them through the end of February. I want to give you tons of ideas for them. Many of you are already collecting them and adding them to your stash of stamps and papers. So I want to arm you with plenty of ideas of how to use them in lots of creative ways so that you're going to just love having them and get lots of use out of them. That is it for today. Don't forget to place your orders using my host code, and don't forget to join me here Thursday for Simple and Stepped Up Stamping at facebook.com/sweetstamper. Thanks again for joining in. Take care and God bless.